Episode 1. The willful deception perpetrated by the Church, surrounding the facts related to the number and kind of animals that had to enter Noah's Ark. This is the accurate account of Noah's Ark. The truthful chronicle of that event, excluding the brainwashing. We must assume that the historical facts in the Bible are mostly correct. We have to do this for the simple reason that the ancients who wrote these manuscripts were not into science fiction. They simply wrote what they saw and heard. We must also remember that the ancient scribes were a simple people, and that they used words and phrases in their existing vocabulary to tell a story or to describe things. Words like tomato, plane, ice cream, telephone, or pasta, words that we don't even think about, but what we use every day, did not exist for them. So in order to better understand what the ancient writers were trying to tell us, we must think like they did. When we can think like them, we find the key to the biblical chronicles. Most people, when you ask them, will come up with the same answer, and that is the misconception that all the animal species on the planet had to go into the ark. This perception is wrong. The same people will also tell you that the animals went into the ark only in pairs, and that is also incorrect. The simple truth is, not all the species on the planet went into the ark, and not all of them went in as pairs, as a male and a female. Let me explain. There was no worldwide deluge, it's as simple as that. The flood occurred only in the vicinity, where the descendants of Adam lived on earth. Only the direct descendants of Adam were targeted for extermination. We know this, because, after the flood, the descendants of Noah multiplied, but with who? There must have been other humans still alive, not related to the descendants of Adam. The offspring of the flood survivors eventually ended up in Egypt, where they found more humans like themselves. They encountered the Egyptian civilization, a civilization consisting of living humans and animals. This Egyptian empire was not wiped out in any flood, so where did they come from? No flood affected them, so the simple conclusion is, the flood only happened where the descendants of Adam lived and their direct surrounding area. There were no pandas from China, llamas from South America, African elephants or kangaroos from Australia in the ark, purely because they did not exist in the area where the ark was constructed. They did not need to be saved because the biblical flood would not annihilate them. Noah only had to rescue animals that were going to be wiped out in the area where the flood was to occur. These animals, wild and domestic, were needed to restock that specific area on the planet, affected by the flood. This is where one of the huge biblical cons comes into the picture. Every person that knows the story of Noah and the ark has been brainwashed with this con since childbirth. The deception being sold by the Christian church and religion is that the animals were only to be saved in pairs, a male and a female. It is one of the most successful brainwashing untruths ever perpetrated by any religion. You will find the root of this deceit in Genesis 7 verse 2. Let me clarify this deception for you. I will read Genesis 7 verse 2, and I quote directly from the Bible. Of every clean beast, thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of the beasts that are not clean, by two, the male and his female. There is a reason for the 7 pairs, but the information about the 7 pairs is effectively concealed by the church, and here is why. Animals in the Bible were classified into 2 groups, and they were clean and unclean animals. For a detailed description of clean and unclean animals, you can read Deuteronomy 14 verses 1 to 19 and Leviticus 11 verses 1 to 47. The clean animals were fauna like horses, cattle, goats and sheep. This group, the clean group, breed slowly. They have 1, maybe 2 offspring in a year. Unclean animals like pigs and rabbits breed rapidly, and normally have large litters, thus the unclean animals like pigs can multiply much faster than the clean ones, hence you would only need 1 pair of pigs, a male and a female, to replenish the breeding stock swiftly after the flood. In Genesis 7 verse 2, Noah is commanded to take 1 pair of unclean animal, for example a male and female pig, and 7 pairs of clean animals like 7 bulls, and 7 cows into the ark. Having 7 pairs of clean animals, like cows, meant that you can restock the land faster with them than having only 1 cow and 1 bull to start with. This part of the story, the 7 pairs, is never told. Not by any church or any preacher, because they don't want humans to question what they are being spoon-fed by the Christian clergy as the accepted doctrine. Christian religion has humanity so brainwashed with the fable of the two animals, the male and the female, and they will stick to this narrative forever, because changing it to the biblical truth will destroy the indoctrination. This willful and misleading presentation of the truth has been carefully orchestrated and impressed onto the gullible and naive Christian mind by the Christian clergy. This religious fraud has been going on since the Bible was commissioned at the request of the Roman Emperor, Constantine, in 331 AD. Henceforth, should you ever hear about the one pair, the male and the female animals, collected by Noah to enter the ark, or see a picture of it, know that it is fictitious, and that you are being brainwashed and manipulated to believe something that is totally incorrect. If this revelation regarding the 7 pairs have been an eye-opener for you, consider what other biblical facts might have been distorted to keep you disempowered and away from the actual truth. If you have enjoyed this explanation regarding the animals and the 7 pairs that had to go into Noah's ark, please like, share and subscribe. There is a lot more biblical untruths to expose on this channel, since this is only the beginning.